It's in a frame. Look how fancy I am. Art's meant to be changed, so I like to change things around in my house. And speaking of change, what is up with Biden choosing Kamala Harris? She's not exactly a change. If anything, she's the same old thing that's been happening in California for years. She locked up black men for marijuana use. She used them for slave labor across the state and then refused to let them go without actual evidence and even didn't want to hear the evidence when the evidence was presented. This woman is a disaster. And even on the stage when Tulsi Gabbard eviscerated her, ripped her 10 ways from Sunday, and the next thing that the California did was remove online queries from their online databases, from their searches. Once upon a time, you could go onto the state of California's website and see all the cases that have moved through the courts of California. Kamala Harris, being the district attorney, would have been on hundreds of these cases because she's the district attorney of the state. Well, as soon as Tulsi called her out, said, "You locked up black men, you did this, you did that, you did this," all those online records disappeared. California changed the system so that you no longer have free open access to all of those records. You now have to request those records and then they'll go ahead and submit them to you. They're still open and free, but you now have to request them and they will be sent to you. It's not like you can just go online like a Google search like they used to do. Wonder why? Is there something you're trying to hide? Methinks you doth protest too much. But enough about them. They're old news. I want to talk about what's coming up. August 22nd, there is a Save Our Children rally, and it's not just one rally, not just two rallies, it's a giant hundreds of rallies all across the state, all across the country, all across the world. We're trying to bring attention to the idea that human trafficking still exists, child trafficking still exists, pedophilia, they're trying to make that a sexual orientation, and you guys, I am not down with that. Milo Yiannopoulos even said so. He even said himself, and the reason they eviscerated him was because he was one of the first people to try to bring attention to this. Man-boy relationships, and I use boy in quotes because some of these men are probably in their early 20s, late teens, like 19, 20, 21, and they call themselves boy. They're not really actually underage, but they are of the physical trait they look, and they try to maintain that look of a boyish look. These man-boy relationships exist in the gay community, and when they're adults, I don't really have a problem with them. But when I'm seeing a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old going for a 14 or a 15-year-old, I start to question things. Like, yes, give them a few more years, let them actually become adults, and then you guys can do whatever you want. But at 15, 16 years old, most people are still going through adolescence. And when you're in an adolescent, you lose the cognitive ability of what we call foresight. And that's not intentional, that's chemical. There's so many chemicals and hormones running through our bodies. If you were never taught, "Hey honey, don't touch that, it's hot." Oh, okay, I'm not going to touch that because my mom tells me it's hot and I'm going to know that that's going to burn. That ability is dampened when you hit adolescence. So you have 14 and 15-year-olds who want to do things like drink, like have sex, like party, like do whatever it is that they feel like they want to do, and their brains are telling them, "Go ahead and do it, it's okay." If they haven't learned the lesson to say, "Hey, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this because this is going to happen," those children will then go ahead and act out on their impulses and start dating older men, older women. And it's because it's not just men who prey on the young, it's women. I think it was the New Jersey Teacher of the Year was a woman, and she was caught diddling one of her kids. The media doesn't want to talk about it. The media doesn't want to say that women can be predators too. They want to focus on whatever it is that they want to focus on. Anything but our hashtag, anything but save our children, anything but pedophilia, anything but human trafficking. We saw how they hid Jeffrey Epstein and everything that he did. We saw how in 2008 they just kind of went, "Stop messing around with little girls, Jeffrey Epstein." Later on, he woke up dead. You guys, the media is in bed with the perverts and the pedophiles, and it's up to us to wake them all up. We want to see every single one of you guys August 22nd across country, across the globe. I was just asked to be a speaker, and I'm totally humbled. As a man who cannot create my own life with the person that I love, that's huge. I want to be a voice and tell people, no, pedophilia does not belong in the queer community or the LGBT community, whatever you want to call yourself community. You do not need to have pedophiles in your community. Pedophiles do not belong in America. We do not want to love and have sexual relations with children. That's disgusting. It's inappropriate, completely holy and completely. Consenting adults can have relationships when there's a huge age gap. That's up to them. They're consenting adults. But teenagers and children need to remain teenagers and children until they completely develop into the adults they're going to be, and they can make those decisions themselves. I'm so sorry. I love you all, but this is super, super important. Spread the word, share, share, share. Let everyone know that our hashtag Save Our Children is going to be trending on August 22nd. Go out there. Upchurch has seen me. You guys, I'm so blown away about the attention that this is getting, and we need to keep going because the media is going to do everything they can to suppress us. I love you all. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.